I've always been interested in horror. Always liked it since I was a kid, even though everything I watched or played scared the shit out of me. And all of it got amplified when I found out about a certain game franchise. Just pretend you didn't see the title or thumbnail for a bit. The horror landscape before 2014 was way different. Well, not exactly. Mainstream horror has been the same for the longest time. You have amazing, unique videos, both high budget and low budget. Then you have obvious cash grabs made through popular horror series. And just bad movies in general. It's still like this today. You still have amazing movies, safe cash grab movies, and bad movies. Horror games were kind of the same before 2014 in a lot of aspects. Third person or fixed camera angle, getting chased by a monster or multiple monsters. That's just horror in general though. And having a weapon to fight off the monsters. Not every horror game is like this, but most of the horror games I can think of before 2014 do. What's more important is the tiny, obscure subgenre hidden inside of horror. Mascot horror. Mascot horror is when a child mascot gets twisted into a horror antagonist. Think of Chucky or the Mickey Mouse costume in the Abandoned by Disney creepypasta. My point is, there wasn't really any media that did mascot horror. Mascot horror didn't become popular until Five Nights at Freddy's dropped in 2014 by Scott Cawthon, and it changed the horror landscape entirely. One dude did all that, from a game that was made because everyone thought his previous game's characters looked like creepy animatronics. So let's get right into it. You play as a night guard for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, 12 AM to 6 AM. They aren't really responsible for what? For only $120 a week? That's $4 an hour. Who the f would do this job? Your first night starts and you immediately get a call.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about. You'll do fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night, but do I blame them? No. If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children and we need to show them a little respect, right? Okay. So just be aware, the characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up if they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the bite of 87. Yeah, it's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know? Now, concerning your safety, the only real risk to you as a night watchman here, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize you as a person. They'll most likely see you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably try to forcefully stuff you inside a Freddy Fazbear suit. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth when they pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign up. But hey, first station of the breeze. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Check those cameras and remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. Alright, good night.
You get a bit of information about your job. First, you're taking over for the guy on the phone. Second, the animatronics get quirky at night. They're allowed to move around at night, and used to during the day, but aren't allowed to anymore because of the bite of 87, where one of the animatronics bit a chunk out of someone's skull. Third, the animatronics will try and stuff you into an animatronic suit if they see you. Now let's look at the gameplay. It's clearly a major change from all other horror games at the time. The first and most major change that you'll notice is that you can't move, which means you can't run away. Then you notice the only two things saving you from death are two doors on each side. Who the designed this place? You do have cameras so you can see where the animatronics are in the building, which is another tool you can use to your advantage, but you have limited power. The more you use your cameras and doors, the more the power goes down, and if you run out of power, it's over for you. It's not that hard to manage, honestly. Just use what you need to when you need them. Don't have them running the whole time. Once you get that down, you're good.
Hello? Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2, congrats. I won't talk quite as long this time since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses. It might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, you know. Interestingly enough, Freddy himself doesn't come off stage very often. I've heard he becomes a lot more active in the dark, though, so hey, I guess that's one more reason not to run out of power, right? I also want to emphasize the importance of using your door lights. There are blind spots in your camera view, and those blind spots happen to be right outside your doors. So if you can't find something or someone on your cameras, be sure to check the door lights. You might only have a few seconds to react. Not that you would be in any danger, of course. I'm not implying that. Also, check on the curtain in Pirate Cove from time to time. The character in there seems unique in that he becomes more active if the cameras remain off for long periods of time. I guess he doesn't like being watched. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you have everything under control. Talk to you soon.
You don't learn too much on night 2 besides a couple of key info. Freddy likes the dark, and the animatronic in Pirates Cove, Foxy, gets more active when you don't look at the cameras. Freddy kinda works the same way too, except you have to be looking directly at him. Yeah, you don't actually have to look directly at Foxy for him to be okay. Just Freddy. So if you want to, you can leave the camera on where Freddy is, and never have to move it again if you don't want to, but I'd still check on Foxy to see which stage she's at.
Hello? Hey, you're doing great. Most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they died. That's not what I meant. Anyway, I better not take up too much of your time. Things start getting real tonight. Hey, listen, I had an idea. If you happen to get caught and want to avoid getting stuffed into a Freddy suit, try playing dead. You know, go limp. Then there's a chance that maybe they'll think that you're an empty costume instead. Then again, if they think you're an empty costume, they might try to stuff a metal skeleton into you. I wonder how that would work. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. It's best just not to get caught. Okay, I'll leave you to it. See you on the flip side.
Yeah, night 3 just basically says good job for making it this far. This is the night where Freddy becomes active, so when I said to watch Freddy, this is where you should start doing it. Night 4 is interesting though.
inside those suits in the back room. I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh
no. Yeah, phone guy dies. Things only get harder, so that's really about it for the night. Not much to say here. It's incomprehensible what's being said. If you reverse it and clean it up a bit, you can actually listen to it. And it's a quote from Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda, an autobiography that focuses a lot on spirituality. I haven't read it myself, but that's what I've seen everywhere. What does it have to do with Five Nights at Freddy's? I don't know. I don't remember anyone explaining it. Either way, you beat the night and get your shit paycheck. It's pretty well known that there's a story hidden in the game through secrets. On Cam 4B, the Reels poster can change to posters telling us about how 5 children went missing in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza after following someone dressed as one of the mascots into a back room. They never found the bodies, but according to the police's statement, they were probably stuffed into the animatronic suits. All this led to Freddy's closing by the end of the year, either before the game or the same year as the game. That's not the only one. The most known secret you can find is Golden Freddy. On camera 2B, the poster can sometimes change to Freddy tearing his head off, but it can also change to Golden Freddy, but it's rare. When you see it and go back to the office, he'll be in your office, and if you just sit there, he will jump scare you. There's the Crying Children posters that can appear on camera 4A. Additionally, the posters can all disappear and It's Me is written all over the hallway. It's Me can sometimes appear on the sign on Pirate's Cove, while Foxy's on his way to beat your ass. And the backstage can have everything stare at you. And the last one isn't really a secret, but sometimes you can get hallucinations that you've probably already seen if you're watching. Back at the main menu, you'll notice that there's a star for completing all 5 nights, but now there's a 6th night. The 6th night doesn't add anything new about the story, it just gives you a challenge to complete. When you complete it, you get another star, and unlock the custom night, where you can decide the difficulty of each animatronic. If you put all of them to max difficulty and beat the night, you'll get the 3rd star, and get fired for messing with the animatronics, being unprofessional, and just smelling bad. Getting fired at a place paying $4 an hour is just a new low. The impact Five Nights at Freddy's had on horror was insane. There were other influences on horror around this time because of the internet, especially for the indie scene with creepypastas and ARGs. But Five Nights at Freddy's blew up and made mascot horror massive. Five Nights at Freddy's fan games got so big and flooded Game Jolt so much that they had to make a whole category for them. People saw how massive mascot horror has become since Five Nights at Freddy's and have taken advantage of it. Other people have taken direct inspiration and have made some amazing pieces of work. There's just too much evidence to say Five Nights at Freddy's hasn't had an impact on horror. You know another thing that has too much evidence to say Five Nights at Freddy's didn't have an impact on? The community Five Nights at Freddy's made was pretty good, I can't lie. You got absolute goats like Markiplier,
If you're an empty costume, they might try to stuff a metal skeleton.
Matt Pat,
It's 5 a.m. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Oh, please don't get me Freddy. Please don't get me Freddy.
and Corey Kenshin.
Don't do it. No, it's too late for that. It's too late.
Oh, shoot!
Music artists that have been ingrained into FNAF's identity, like the Living Tombstones music, and people bringing FNAF to other horror subgenres, like Squimpus McGrimpus's analog horror series on FNAF. Oh. The community did a lot to bolster FNAF's popularity, because that's exactly what communities do. One of my favorite things that happened to the community looking back on them now are the hoaxes. We obviously know they aren't real now, and nobody would believe them today because of data miners. I really can't say much more than this, because everything else interesting started after the second game, so be ready for that after whenever I get to that video. Five Nights at Freddy's really did a lot for horror. I want to be nearly as interested in it without FNAF. Again, one dude did all of this. making a game with so much cultural impact, just from people calling the characters in his last game creepy. I will always have a place in my heart for it, even when it becomes the mass-marketed corporate slop that it originally inspired.